Sean Diddy Combs is expected to return to court. The music mogul is facing federal charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. Combs has been in a New York City jail since last month when his request for bond was denied twice. ABC News legal contributor, trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer joins me now for more on this. Brian, what can we expect to happen in court?
So Dan and Core were expecting the parties with their new attorneys to be there to make the arguments not only that Sean Combs should be released, arguing that the bail was denied inappropriately in the past, but also just a scheduling of the case. They're looking to move forward in this case by saying what evidence the defense is likely to receive, what, if any, motions should be filed in the coming days. It's basically an opportunity for both parties to kind of get the ball rolling towards an inevitable trial.
Brian, Combs also hired a new defense attorney. What more do you know about him?
Yeah, so Anthony, or Tony Rico, as many people know him, is kind of like the godfather of federal defense, both in terms of his death penalty work. I think he's done over 50 death penalty cases across the country, as well as being well known as a Harlem native and working in the Southern District of New York. To give you some context, I'll say this. I probably would say that I'm a fairly decent defense attorney. I have a pretty decent record when it comes to trials and whatnot. The people that I look up to as being great defense attorneys, they look up to Tony Rico as being great themselves. And so he's at a different level, I think, when it comes to defense. I'm not saying that just because he's on the team, Sean Combs is going to be found not guilty, but this is probably one of the strongest people to be able to defend him in a case like this.
And Brian, last week a Texas attorney said he's representing 120 alleged victims, both men and women, who claim Combs sexually assaulted them. So how could these lawsuits impact the criminal case?
So Tony Busby, the attorney you were talking about, brought those cases, and he said that I think over 3,000 people had reached out to him, but he's only representing 120. He himself says that a number of those cases need to be vetted. So I think what we're going to see is those claims get vetted. We'll see what is strong, what is not, and what is not a claim in of itself altogether. But if those sources, if those alleged victims do have strong corroborating information or new facts, we could potentially see more witnesses in a federal case, other federal cases across the country, as Tony Busby says, that these claims come out of Georgia and Florida and other states. But we can also see potentially a superseding indictment where there'd be more charges and more alleged victims in the Sean Combs case out of the Southern District of New York.
All right, Brian Buckmeyer, thank you. And be sure to watch The Secret Life of Diddy, a special edition of 2020 tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern on ABC, and streaming on Hulu tomorrow.